Prepare for trouble. And make it double. Oh, you thought I was gonna do the whole Team Rocket intro? No, I'm not putting you through that. At least not yet. But yeah, folks, today we're covering the entirety of Pokemon Season 1 from start to finish. Stock up on some potions, some full restores, we've got a bit to cover. Premiering in 1997, the Pokemon series is about Ash Ketchum, a 10-year-old boy from Pallet Town, who dreams of becoming a Pokemon Master, along with his loyal Pokemon friend, Pikachu, who definitely gives better electric shocks than hugs. Along with Ash and Pikachu, we've got two more characters who make the season very, very memorable. First up, we have our fiery redhead girl Misty, who loves water Pokemon and is one of the four sisters of the Cerulean City Gym. Next, we have Brock, a gym leader and the ultimate ladies' man, or at least he would like to think so. He's also the genius behind those unique and amazing Poke Foods. And of course, how can we forget the Team Rocket trio, Jessie, James, and Meowth, who spend more time blasting off than actually catching Pikachu. But hey, their unyielding determination to kidnap Pikachu and fail miserably every single time made the show 3 times more entertaining. So without further ado, let's get started with episode 1 of season 1, Pokemon, I Choose You. The episode starts with our hero Ash Ketchum watching an epic Pokemon battle in his room. Our boy is so hyped that his mom has to wrestle him into bed, as he's about to get his very first Pokemon. Speaking of which, Ash dreams of the 3 starters he will choose from: the Grass-type Bulbasaur, Water-type Squirtle, or Fire-breathing Charmander. But he oversleeps and rushes over to Oak's lab in his pajamas only to find the 3 starters have already been taken by other trainers, including his rival Gary Oak. The only Pokemon left is a Pikachu. But the little electric mouse has got no chill at all and zaps the heck out of him right away. Despite that, Ash takes Pikachu under his wing and starts his journey from Pallet Town. As they set off, Pikachu flat out refuses to listen to Ash or even get inside his Pokeball. That's when Ash sees a Pidgey and tries to capture it, but he instead ends up provoking a Spearow, which calls for more backup. The duo start running for their lives and end up falling in a waterfall. This is where they meet Misty, who is one of the Cerulean Gym. Well, she's kind of just a random girl right now, actually. We'll talk about her more later. Ash takes her bike, vowing to return it, and heads to the nearest Pokemon Center to heal his injured Pikachu. But things don't really go as planned, as they get relentlessly attacked by the Spearows. When the Spearows keep coming, Pikachu steps into the battle and defends Ash by unleashing a powerful Thunderbolt. Not long after that battle, Ash sees the legendary Pokemon Ho-Oh soaring through the sky. Though their bonding wasn't the smoothest thing out there, Ash and Pikachu's journey has begun on a high note. Time for episode 2, Pokemon Emergency. As Ash arrives at Viridian City, he's stopped by Officer Jenny, who thinks he's a Poke Thief. However, she quickly realizes Ash is just a normal dumb kid and gives him a ride to the Pokemon Center. Meanwhile, the real culprits, Jessie, James, and Meowth of Team Rocket, are planning to steal some rare Pokemon from the Pokemon Center. At the center, Nurse Joy scolds Officer Jenny for crashing her motorcycle right through the door. Feeling down, Ash calls his mom, who cheers him up by reminding him that he can achieve anything. Right then, Misty storms in demanding Ash pay for the bike Pikachu toasted with its Thunderbolt. But when she sees Pikachu's condition, her heart melts like ice cream. Just then, Officer Jenny warns about a shady balloon hovering over the city. And yeah, it's Team Rocket. Ash, Misty, and Nurse Joy scramble to evacuate the hurt Pokemon to safety in Pewter City. But the Rocket guys track them down. So Misty steps in, sending out her Goldeen. But the poor fishy just flops around helplessly with no water. Finally, with the help of other Pikachus, Ash's Pikachu unleashes a supercharged Thunder Shock and blasts Team Rocket out of the center. After successfully saving all the Pokemon, our heroes head to the Viridian Forest. However, after seeing a tiny little Caterpie, Misty starts screaming out loud. Really loud. Like louder than a Loudred, I'd say. But our boy Ash knows only 2 things: catch Pokemon and battle Pokemon. So he decides to catch Caterpie, throwing his Pokeball as the episode ends on a cliffhanger. With the 3rd episode, we pick right up where we left off, with Ash throwing his first Pokeball at the Caterpillar Pokemon. And it's a bullseye! With that, Ash catches his very first Pokemon. He shows off his new buggy buddy to Misty, but the sight of Caterpie disgusts her so much and she hides behind a tree. Poor Caterpie, just wanted to make a friend. According to Misty, she hates bug Pokemon as much as carrots and peppers. What? Who hates carrots and peppers? That night, when the humans snoozed off, Pikachu and Caterpie have a heart-to-heart conversation talking about his dreams to become a Butterfree. The next morning, a wild Pidgeotto shows up, and our hero decides to use a bug-type Caterpie against a flying-type Pokemon. Looks like our future Pokemon Master doesn't know birds eat worms. Right then, Pikachu jumps onto the scene, zaps Pidgeotto, and Ash catches his second Pokemon. He tries to play it cool in front of Misty, but Team Rocket shows up and ruins any chance he had of doing so. They start attacking using their Pokemon, but Ash's Pidgeotto was ready to rumble, dodging attacks left and right. But soon, the poor Pokemon gets overpowered. Without a choice, Ash brings Caterpie to the battle, who string shots Coughing, Ekans, and Meowth, forcing Team Rocket to retreat. After the battle, Caterpie evolves to Metapod, and Pikachu remembers Caterpie's dream of becoming a Butterfree. Ash excitedly introduces his newly evolved friend to Misty. Just then, a Beedrill flies across them, so without wasting any time, Ash starts chasing it to make it his next Pokemon.
And now, Challenge of the Samurai!
Chasing the Beedrill, Ash comes across a Weedle and plans to catch it using his Pokeball. However, our hero remembers the rule number 1 of catching Pokemon.
Forgot you have to weaken a Pokemon before you can capture it.
He calls on Pikachu, but the little electric mouse is too busy having a nap. So Ash uses his Pidgeotto, and just when Ash was about to catch the Pokemon, a boy in a samurai costume challenges Ash to a battle. At first, Ash relies on Pidgeotto to take down the samurai's pincer, but instead gets taken down by the big bug's powerful tackle. The samurai boy brings out his Metapod for the most epically boring stare down in Pokemon history. Just when the two hot-headed trainers are about to completely pass out, a swarm of angry Beedrill start chasing the samurai and snatches Ash's Metapod. The trio flee into the woods and spend the rest of the night in a cabin. Ash returns back to Kakuna Tree only for that pesky Meowth to scratch him. Things get worse when Team Rocket's grand entry wakes the whole hive. However, Ash manages to dodge the Beedrill swarm and he finds his Metapod. But it looks like our little bug friend is not happy with Ash abandoning him. But just a short while later, the little cocoon soon realizes that he's wrong and protects Ash from a Beedrill attack. In the process, it evolves into a beautiful Butterfree and uses sleep powder to knock out the rampaging Beedrill. Samurai Boy congratulates Ash and shows the direction of Pewter City. He declines finishing their Titanic Metapod versus Metapod battle, admitting Ash showed him what it really means to be a Pokémon Master. The next episode starts with Team Rocket digging a pitfall trap for Ash. But in typical Team Rocket fashion, they somehow manage to hilariously fall right into it. Brilliant planning, as always. Finally, Ash, Misty, and Pikachu arrive at Pewter City, where an eccentric old guy, Flint, shows them the Pokemon Center. However, when Ash is pumped up to defeat the gym leader, he wastes no time mocking Ash's plan to challenge Brock. Brock being the Pewter Gym leader. At the Pewter Gym, Brock schools Ash on all the official rules and regulations for gym battles. Despite Pikachu's efforts, Brock's massive rock snake, Onix, totally overwhelms the little mouse, forcing Ash to forfeit the match to prevent Pikachu from getting squeezed into a pancake. A dejected Ash runs into Flint again, who secretly takes the kid to an electric plant to supercharge Pikachu's powers. In the rematch, Ash's Pidgeotto was swiftly overpowered by Brock's Geodude, but our supercharged Pikachu manages to knock out Geodude, setting up a rematch against Onix. Due to an electrical fire caused by Pikachu, the sprinkler system activates, weakening Onix, which allows Pikachu to pull off a shocking upset. However, Ash realizes that it's unfair and graciously accepts the loss against Brock. Touched by Ash's generosity, Brock awards him with the coveted Boulder Badge. That's when Flint finally reveals himself as Brock's father. He gives Brock his blessing to go pursue his dreams while he looks after his children back home. Brock joins Ash in his journey, with Misty angrily chasing them for compensation for her bike. I don't blame her. Bikes are expensive. In the episode Clefairy and the Moonstone, our heroes Ash, Brock, Misty, and Pikachu are on the road to Cerulean City. But they can't just stroll through without running into some crazy situation. As they're walking along, they find a guy, Seymour, getting attacked by a bunch of Zubats. Lucky for him, Ash and his Pikachu were there to save the day. After the rescue, Seymour starts telling him this theory about the Moonstone being from outer space and giving Pokemon super cool powers. Now, I know what you're thinking. This dude sounds nuttier than a fruitcake. Just then, Team Rocket jump in to snatch that Moonstone for themselves, but they soon get blown away by Ash's Pokemon. But on their second try, they take the whole Moonstone and try to run away. The Clefairy then tracks them down and uses the Metronome attack, blowing them away and shattering the Moonstone into tiny pieces. But just like every cloud has a silver lining, with the help of the shattered Moonstones, some of the Clefairy evolve into Clefable. Seymour decides to hang around with his new Clefable buddies in the forest. With their new friend living the dream, Ash, Misty, Brock, and Pikachu say goodbye, and they head off towards Cerulean City. But along the way, they spot a message from Ash's rival Gary calling him a total loser. Looks like our hero has to do a lot to catch up. Next episode, get ready for some wet and wild adventures in Celadon City. Oh, wait, looks like someone isn't that happy to head to the city. Who is that though? It's none other than Misty, who tries to convince Ash and Brock into skipping her hometown altogether. But they don't care, and they just move on. Meanwhile, Team Rocket were up to no good as usual. They sneak into some building and steal a gigantic vacuum machine that they plan on using it to, of course, steal some Pokemon. The next day, Ash and Brock walk around Celadon City and find out that Misty is no longer following them. At the gym, Ash hit the jackpot, and the 3 gym leaders turn out to be some talented sisters putting on a water ballet show. When asked for a battle, the sisters refuse because their Pokemon are already crushed by other Pallet trainers. Just when they're about to give the Cascade badge, Misty storms in as the 4th surprise sister. To make up for his sister slacking, Misty challenges Ash to a battle herself. But first, she had to take down her older sisters just to get them to take this Pokemon battle seriously. Finally, it was time for the main battle. Misty versus Ash in a 2-on-2 water war. But hold on, it looks like our buddy Pikachu won't fight against Misty. So Ash uses Butterfree, but is soon taken down by Misty Staryu. It was time for Pidgeotto to step up against Starmie. The battle was going well, and Ash was about to win. But of course, Team Rocket had to come barging in with their stolen vacuum. They try to suck up all the water Pokemon, but Pikachu blasts Team Rocket yet again to oblivion. In the end, Misty's older sister hands Ash the Cascade badge, even though her little hothead sister refuses to admit that he would have won anyway.
The path to the Pokemon League!
Our heroes are making their way to Vermilion City, with Ash excited to earn his 3rd gym badge. In one of his battles, a trainer tips Ash off about this crazy unofficial gym run by a guy, AJ, who has racked up a mind-boggling 98 wins without a single loss. Now that is the kind of challenge that Ash is looking for. Of course, once they arrive at AJ's hardcore gym, it's clear this is no ordinary gym. Despite Misty's advice to take it easy, Ash's overconfident skull is too thick to listen. He charges into battle against AJ only to get his overinflated ego deflated. First, poor Pidgeotto gets its feathers plucked, followed by Butterfree's wings getting clipped, and it looks like it's not Butterfree anymore. When Ash tries bringing in Pikachu to the battle, the little guy refuses to fight once again. After his humbling defeat, Ash finally gets up the nerve to confront AJ about his harsh training regimen, but the Rockhead simply shrugs it off, revealing some top-secret strength-enhancing tech he's been using on Sandshrew. Brock and Misty are all ears, but Ash is still feeling pretty left out in the cold. But then, our usual nemesis Team Rocket kidnaps the Sandshrew. This sends AJ into a panic mode and starts searching along with his other Pokemon. However, Sandshrew escapes from them and reunites with AJ. Just then, Team Rocket arrives at the scene and challenges AJ for a battle. But Team Rocket, being Team Rocket, run away after being swiftly defeated by AJ. And with that, AJ brings up his 100th win and decides to start collecting gym badges, setting up an inevitable clash with Ash at a future Pokemon League championship. The next episode starts with our heroes Ash, Misty, and Brock hopelessly wandering through a forest. That's when a wild Oddish appears. Misty is all set to catch it, but it looks like our little grass Pokemon has a bodyguard, and it's a Bulbasaur. Ash is excited at the prospect of adding Bulbasaur to his team. He tries having Butterfree put the grass type to sleep with sleep powder, but the attack backfires and puts Butterfree into sleep instead. Sensing it's the right time, Bulbasaur escapes to the forest with Oddish, leading the trio on a wild chase. During the chase, Brock falls off a trapped rope bridge in a river and gets fished out by this girl Melanie, who lives in the hidden village. This village serves as a rehab center for abandoned and injured Pokemon. She explains that traps were set here to protect the weaker Pokemon from trainers looking for a fight. Speak of the devil, Team Rocket also falls right into her trap territory while fruitlessly pursuing Ash's crew. When the Rocket Gang attacks and literally vacuum up all the poor Pokemon, Bulbasaur steps up to defend its friends alongside Ash's Pidgeotto. Melanie was so impressed by their teamwork that she asked Ash to take Bulbasaur along with his journey. But our seed Pokemon has a condition. Only if Ash can beat it fair and square in battle first, he will be part of his journey. Using his Pikachu, Ash manages to weaken Bulbasaur and catch it, making it his 3rd Pokemon. With their new addition to the team, Ash, Misty, and our ladies' man Brock says goodbye to Melanie and resume their journey towards Vermilion City.
Charmander, the stray Pokemon!
Ash, Brock, and Misty are lost yet again on the way to Vermilion City. However, to their surprise, they stumble upon a fiery lizard Pokemon, Charmander, sitting on a rock, and our boy Ash tries hard to catch it. But, well, it looks like Charmander is not very interested. Through Pikachu, they learn that Charmander is waiting for its trainer to return, despite being cruelly abandoned for being too weak. As dark clouds roll in, Ash and his gang rush to the Pokemon Center. While there, they overhear Charmander's former trainer Damien boasting about ditching Charmander with his friends. But oh boy, Brock is not having it, and confronts Damien. They race back to Charmander and rescue it from the Spearows, not before Pikachu electrocutes them all. The next morning, Brock finds out that Charmander has escaped and returned to its waiting spot for Damien. On their way, Team Rocket snatches Pikachu, but Charmander instantly fries them off using its flamethrower attack. Right then, Damien returns to reclaim Charmander, but it refuses and joins Ash and his team in their journey.
Here comes the Squirtle Squad!
While on their way to Vermilion City, Ash and his crew encounter a very heinous but also very iconic turtle gang, known of course as the Squirtle Squad. After battling them, Officer Jenny comes to check out the chaos. Though I should note, this Jenny is not the Jenny from Viridian City, but a cousin of the Jenny from Viridian City. Oh man, that is so confusing. Don't worry, you'll get used to it. She tells the sad backstory of the Squirtle, who were apparently abandoned by their trainers and have gone rogue ever since. With the help of Meowth, Team Rocket convinces the Squirtle Squad to help them capture Pikachu, and the Squirtle Squad are all in. They kidnap Pikachu and Ash's group, but poor Pikachu is injured, so they leave Ash to get medicine for the injured Pikachu. But the journey is not easy. After a long struggle, Ash reaches the town, but only for Gary to slam Ash's face on the door. With the help of Officer Jenny, Ash rushes back to the cave and finds that his crew are already safe outside. But looks like the trouble is back as Team Rocket started attacking the Squirtle Squad. In the process, Ash saves Squirtle and is quite impressed.
Here I come! Oh.
With an unbelievable enthusiasm, he takes Ash to safety and uses his water gun to blast off Team Rocket. However, the whole forest is on fire due to Team Rocket's shenanigans, so the Squirtle Squad cooperate to extinguish the fire caused by the bombs, becoming the town's new firefighter squad. As Ash departs for Vermilion City, the Squirtle boss decides to join his team, and with that, Ash finally catches his first water Pokemon.
Electric Shock Showdown!
After walking and walking for 2 whole weeks, our heroes finally make it to Vermilion City. Ash, being Ash, wants to go straight to the gym for a battle, but his friends are like, "No way, dude," and they decide to get a snack. At the Pokemon Center, they see Nurse Joy running around treating many hurt Pokemon, and it turns out the gym leader, Lieutenant Surge, is super tough and beating up Pokemon trainers left and right. Seeing all the injured Pokemon, Ash is really nervous about challenging Lieutenant Surge. To make things worse, Misty makes fun of Ash, saying all his badges didn't really count. Ouch, that had to sting. Even Pikachu is so scared that Ash has to full-on drag him to the gym. At the gym, Lieutenant Surge laughs at Ash for not evolving Pikachu into a Raichu yet, calling Pikachu a tiny and pathetic electric mouse, which fires up Ash to defeat him. Despite Brock and Misty telling him to calm down, Ash charges right into battle against Lieutenant Surge. As you may have guessed, Pikachu is demolished and ends up in the same Pokemon Center as before. At the center though, Nurse Joy gives a Thunderstone to Ash for evolving Pikachu into Raichu. But Pikachu is fired up and wants to beat Raichu just the way it is. And surprisingly, they even have the support from none other than Team Rocket. With that, they head on to the second round. At first, Pikachu struggles to battle Surge's Raichu, but quickly defeats Raichu. Earning Ash his third badge, the Thunder Badge. No enhancements needed.
Bye-bye, Butterfree!
The episode starts with Ash and friends walking along a cliff overlooking the sea where Butterfree were gathering to find mates. So Ash releases his Butterfree to join and find his soulmate, but the poor thing has no luck. Ash's Butterfree gets disheartened, but he encourages it to keep trying. Eventually, Ash's Butterfree spots a pink female Butterfree, and it's love at first sight. However, when he tries to woo her, she harshly rejects him with a slap across the face. After getting insulted, Butterfree flees into the forest, so Ash and his friends dress it up with a scarf. But even still, that picky pink Butterfree won't budge. Just then, Team Rocket crashed the party, and try to capture all the Butterfree. Looks like they won't be Butterfree anymore. Sorry. Our heroes track them down, and Ash's Butterfree breaks the net and saves the others. When James tries to stop it, Butterfree knocks him aside, finally impressing the pink Butterfree. Team Rocket tries escaping by helicopter, but they get blasted away by Pikachu's Thundershock. In the end, Ash tearfully parts ways as his Butterfree flies off into the sunset with his new mate, cherishing all their memories together. Oh, these lovebirds just can't stop fighting, as Ash and Misty start fighting yet again over getting lost on the way to Saffron City. But little do they know that a mysterious woman is watching them the whole time. Right then, Ash sees a little girl run into the forest with a ball and starts chasing her, nearly falling off a cliff before Bulbasaur saves him. In Saffron City, Team Rocket, in Hawaiian disguises, trap Ash's group with the promise of a prize for being the millionth visitors. However, they snatch Pikachu from Ash, but a little psychic girl stops them and teleports the heroes outside the gym. Inside the gym, Ash and his crew find people practicing psychic abilities, but a man interrupts, boasting about how powerful his leader Sabrina is. During their 1v1 match, Sabrina Zabra evolves into a Kadabra and thrashes Pikachu very badly. Outmatched, Ash surrenders when Kadabra redirects Pikachu's electricity back at it. After getting defeated by Sabrina, Ash's group gets teleported into a plastic town, but they soon realize that they're shrunken down inside a toy box. The little girl nearly finishes them off, but a mysterious man teleports them outside again.
Teleportation.
He warns never to return, but Ash is not the type of guy who will give up easily. After a long struggle, the man reveals the secret to defeat Sabrina's psychic types. And what is it? Use ghost Pokemon found only in Lavender Town. After knowing about the secret on how to win, our heroes head towards the town, while Meowth drags the still frozen Jessie and James. On the way to Lavender Town, Ash and his gang struggle to travel due to thick fog, so they decide to catch each other's hand. But Brock accidentally grabs Pikachu's tail and gets zapped by the electric mouse. At the creepy Pokemon Tower, the crew hear strange sounds which make their legs shake in fear. But this ain't no ghost. It's actually Team Rocket, who are spying from within the tower. However, they themselves have a surprise guest who spooks them out, in the form of Ghastly and his ghost buddies. After hearing the commotion going on, Ash's group head inside, looking for whatever they can find. However, they're promptly chased out by Ghastly, Haunter, and Gengar. Anyway, our boy Ash is super determined and re-enters the tower without Misty and Brock. When Ash tries to stop Haunter and Gengar, a chandelier falls on him, putting him and Pikachu into a near-death state. Taking advantage of the situation, Haunter quickly pulls Ash and Pikachu's souls out of their bodies. They start flying and exploring the jungle, even scaring Misty and Brock. The ghost Pokemon invite them to stay, but Ash knows that if he decides to stay here, he might have to bury his Pokemon Master dream along with his body, so he declines and returns back to their mortal vessels. The next day, Ash resolves to defeat Sabrina without catching a ghost type. However, Haunter decides to join Ash's team, but not before terrorizing Brock and Misty to run for their money.
Haunter versus Kadabra!
Back in Saffron City, Ash convinces Haunter to help him battle against Sabrina's Kadabra, to which he quickly agrees. At first, Misty and Brock refuse going into the gym, of course after getting almost crushed by the giant ball, but Ash convinces them with the help of Haunter. Right before the rematch, Sabrina reminds the consequences if he ends up losing, but Ash is super confident and chooses Haunter as his first Pokemon. But the ghost Pokemon is out of sight. With Sabrina getting mad, he sends out Pikachu and his other Pokemon, but they all refuse to battle her. With no Pokemon to use, Ash tries to escape, which leaves Misty and Brock reduced into dolls. However, Sabrina's mysterious father teleports Ash and his Pokemon to the park. He explains to Ash that Sabrina developed a split personality because of her psychic powers, which in turn ruined her relationship with her parents. In order to win the battle and save his friends, Ash starts searching for Haunter and finally finds him once Team Rocket tries to nab Pikachu. After Ash convinces Haunter yet again, he finally agrees to help. However, Haunter doesn't appear again. With no other way, Ash accepts his fate, but Pikachu bravely steps in. Finally, Haunter arrives and starts making faces to make Sabrina laugh. Believe it or not, it works, leaving Sabrina and her Kadabra bursting at the seams. So her father declares Ash the winner, with Misty and Brock getting back into their bodies. With Sabrina back to normal, the heroes depart for their next destination, Celadon City.
Pokemon Sensation!
Finally, our heroes arrive at the bustling Celadon City, where the sweet scent of perfume captivates Brock, drawing him into a shop. But our impatient hero Ash insults the perfume as a waste, pissing off the staff and his friends. I mean, fair enough. I wouldn't want people calling my videos a waste of time. That's someone's livelihood, dude. And what happens next? Of course, our boy gets kicked out of the shop. Poor Ash. So with no other option, Ash goes to the Celadon gym to battle. But the city's gym bans him because, get this, it happens to produce the very perfume he made fun of. Meanwhile, Team Rocket sneaks into the gym to steal the secret perfume formula. But in classic Team Rocket blunder, they get knocked out by a gloom stench and end up hanging in a tree. That's when Ash finds them and agrees to help, but only if they return the favor by helping him sneak into the gym. So, using their dubious skills, Team Rocket disguises Ash as a girl to infiltrate the gym's classes taught by the gym leader Erica, who's also the manager of the shop who kicked Ash out. However, the plan fails as Pikachu recognizes Ash in disguise and blows his cover. Ash challenges Erica for a gym battle, and she agrees for an official 3-on-3 battle for the Celadon gym badge. She brings out Tangela, Weepinbell, and finally Gloom, while Ash calls Bulbasaur, Charmander, and finally Pikachu. Ash isn't totally confident and is worried that Pikachu isn't gonna win. But Pikachu's like, nah, I'm gonna win, dude. But the battle gets interrupted when Team Rocket breaks in, flaunting the stolen perfume formula. Naturally, their clownery leads to mishandling a smoke bomb that blasts them off yet again. The chaos causes a fire to break out, and Erica's gloom goes missing. But our brave hero Ash rushes into the flames and foul smoke to rescue the gloom, whose stench doesn't bother him once it realizes that he's there to help. After winning a lot of hearts, including that of Erica, Ash is rewarded the Rainbow Badge for his bravery. He apologizes for letting Team Rocket steal the formula, but Erica reveals those clowns only made off with a vial of Gloom's repulsive scent, which they learn the hard way after taking a whiff of it.
Dig those Diglett!
The next episode starts with Ash and his crew wandering around the mountains. However, they're totally lost. Meanwhile, Team Rocket are trying to have a nice little picnic. It's kinda nice. A real change of pace for them. But then an earthquake hits and ruins all their prepared food. The one time that they try and chill out and not do anything evil. So Ash and his friends head to look what's the matter and find a bunch of trucks crashed like a sleeping Snorlax. That's when this tiny Diglett pokes its little head out of the ground, then quickly ducks back underground. Turns out there's construction happening to build a dam nearby, and the Diglett are digging holes everywhere, messing up the work. The construction boss is furious and declares whoever gets rid of the pesky Diglett gets a huge bounty. Then who shows up acting all high and mighty? Good old Gary Oak. Yeah, like he can definitely handle that. However, when he tries to fight the Diglett, his Pokemon straight up refuse to come out of their balls. Long story short, the Diglett were just protecting their forest home from getting flooded by the dam. The construction boss cancels the whole project after realizing this, not before Jesse and James show off their newly evolved Arbok and Weezing. But this time, the leader of the Digletts, Dugtrio, along with his comrades, blast them off the construction site.
The dam!
Maybe it won't hold!
With the problem solved, Ash and his buddies keep on traveling to their next crazy adventure, while Team Rocket is stuck being mad that their plan failed yet again.
The Ninja Poke-showdown!
After a long bit of travel, Ash, Misty, and Brock are just kicking it by a lake when Misty's Psyduck starts chugging cold water, which gives him a headache. If you ever feel useless, remember, this duck exists. They head towards the Fuchsia City gym for Ash's next badge, but a shady-looking Venonat starts following them. They end up at this creepy old mansion instead of the gym. As soon as they go inside, Misty falls straight through the wall. They find Venonat and chase it into the funhouse full of traps. Finally, a girl named Aya shows up and battles Ash with her Venonat. Just when he thinks he's got it in the bag, a Voltorb self-destructs right in their faces. That's when Aya's brother Koga appears, who is the Fuchsia gym leader. But the usual menace Team Rocket busts in wearing those goofy kabuki theater outfits. These guys just can't catch a break. That's when Psyduck randomly pops out and starts using insanely powerful psychic moves out of nowhere. The little duck single-handedly blasts Team Rocket back into the stratosphere and frees everybody. Finally, Ash challenges Koga for a rematch, and after beating Golbat with the help of his Charmander, he earns the Soul Badge.
Soul Badge! Alright!
and the crew continue the journey for their next adventure.
The problem with Paris!
Arriving in the tiny moss green village, Ash was ready to leave once he sees that there's no gym. But Brock's like, hold on bro, and informs him that they're completely out of potions and they need to restock. Meanwhile, Meowth is on the verge of saying goodbye to the world, so Jesse and James decide to abandon the furball, since it has 8 more lives left, and nobody wants to deal with Meowth for that long. But luckily, a kind girl named Cassandra interrupts and heals Meowth. This gets Meowth feeling some kind of way towards her, if you know what I mean. At Cassandra's grandmother's shop, Ash and his crew meet Cassandra. However, Brock interrupts and immediately starts drooling over this girl. But Cassandra wants to battle to get her Paris to finally evolve into a Parasect, so she can use its mushroom to make a super healing potion. Well, Ash agrees to battle Paris with the goal of letting it safely lose to gain some much-needed experience. But Charmeleon is having none of that and burns the heck out of Paris. Poor Paris flees the battle in tears, with Cassandra running after it. But Paris ends up finding Meowth, who convinces Jesse and James to actually help Paris easily defeat Arbok and Weezing to boost its confidence. This works like a charm, bumping Paris up enough to battle Ash again. It even manages to knock out Pikachu. But Charmeleon refuses to listen to Ash's commands again and aggressively attacks Paris. That is, until Paris finally knocks it out by jabbing Charmeleon right in the stomach, causing it to evolve into Parasect. Well, this enrages Charmeleon, who lashes out at everybody and blasts Team Rocket away again. It then turns its fury toward the newly evolved Parasect. But Charmeleon is put to sleep by Parasect spores. As our heroes depart, Team Rocket returns, hoping Meowth could be the mascot for Cassandra's super potion, only to learn a Persian already has taken that gig. Poor Meowth.
The Song of Jigglypuff!
After wandering through a scorching desert, Ash's crew stumble into the rough and tumble locale of Neon Town. Meanwhile, those bumbling Team Rocket clowns are dealing with their usual lack of luck, as they get beaten after bumping into the people of the town. These townsfolk are not messing around. The next day, Ash and his friends see the people of Neon Town just straight up arguing with each other left and right. They quickly escape the drama to a nearby forest, only to encounter a wild Jigglypuff that can't sing to save its life. Well, Misty tries to catch the little puffball, but ends up feeling guilty when Jigglypuff starts crying. So instead, they decide to be nice and teach Jigglypuff how to actually sing properly. But Team Rocket has other plans. They get the idea to use Jigglypuff's voice once it learns to sing to put the entire town to sleep, so they can swipe everyone's Pokémon. Finally, Jigglypuff gets his voice down and is able to sing properly. The bad news, its voice immediately puts everybody to sleep, including Ash and his friends. Jigglypuff gets so mad that it starts scribbling all their faces with a marker. After apologizing to the little balloon Pokémon, Ash and Misty try letting their Pokémon listen to Jigglypuff to prove they can stay awake. But one by one, every last one of them dozes off. Even Psyduck is in a deep state of sleep with its eyes wide open. So they take Jigglypuff to Neon Town, hoping that there will be someone who'll be able to resist its slumber-inducing voice. They find Team Rocket in disguise, who agree to give Jigglypuff a stage, but its singing is just too powerful, knocking out the entire town. Jigglypuff gets mad again and defaces everyone's faces while they're sleeping. When the whole town finally wakes up, they're all suddenly feeling a lot more friendly. But sadly, Misty can't find any sign of Jigglypuff as Team Rocket limps off in defeat. At least they happily accepted their defeat after all.
Attack of the prehistoric Pokémon!
Our heroes finally arrive at the Grandpa Canyon, where people are not in a gold rush, but a fossil rush. Even our good old Gary Oak shows up to dig, not before taunting Ash for being completely clueless. Meanwhile, Team Rocket have got an amazing plan to unearth fossils faster in the canyon. And what is it? To place bombs. These dimwits never realize what they're doing. Ash notices Meowth lighting the fuse, leading Pikachu to blast it in panic, triggering an explosion. They find an underground cave and encounter ancient Pokémon, who are angered by the blast after they're 1,000 years asleep. The ancient Pokémon start attacking, so Ash calls out Charmeleon, but it refuses to battle. However, these minions flee when they realize that the real deal, Aerodactyl, is on the way. Aerodactyl scratches Charmeleon before snatching Ash and flying off with him. Above ground, a crowd gathers to help dig until the Aerodactyl emerges with Ash in its grasp. Enraged by Aerodactyl's taunts, Charmeleon evolves into Charizard to battle it out. Charizard takes flight, unleashing Flamethrower at Aerodactyl, accidentally scorching Ash too. Misty asks Jigglypuff to sing a song and put Aerodactyl back to sleep. It works, with Charizard catching the falling Ash before also dozing out. The Jigglypuff gets furious and scribbles on everyone's faces before heading out. Officer Jenny declares it all just a dream caused by Jigglypuff's song. She calls the canyon too dangerous to continue excavating due to the underground prehistoric Pokémon and advises everybody to leave. As they depart, Ash shows off his fossil egg he had grabbed, but Brock is quick to grab it from Ash to take care of it. Meanwhile, Team Rocket is still trapped below with the ancient monsters, not before James's sneeze wakes them up again.
Who gets to keep Togepi?
So Ash and the squad roll up to the Pokemon Center and get a message from Professor Oak about some fancy Pokédex upgrade for Ash. Meanwhile, Brock is taking care of the egg, and everyone's wondering what kind of Pokemon it's gonna hatch. Meanwhile, those Team Rocket goofs are up to no good, themselves as egg sellers to try and swap out Brock's real egg. When Ash's group isn't falling for their scheme, the idiots steal the egg before taking off from there. Unexpectedly though, while they're heading out in some cabin, Meowth starts bonding with the egg. Ash's group manages to track them down, and a battle breaks out. However, the egg goes flying, and it looks like it's all over. But Pikachu is on the right spot and saves the day by catching it. Right then, the egg suddenly starts glowing and hatches into an adorable little Togepi. However, everyone wants to keep the cute little Pokemon, even Team Rocket, so Ash proposes they settle it with a tournament, which is really just an excuse for more battles. So it's first Meowth versus Brock, followed by Ash versus Misty. Meowth has to actually battle as a Pokemon himself since he doesn't have one. Using every dirty trick in the book, it somehow manages to take down Brock's Onix. Then Ash's Bulbasaur clashes with Misty's Psyduck, and you know how useless Psyduck can be. So Bulbasaur walks away with a W without a sweat. In the finals, it's Pikachu versus Meowth, and the little mouse electrocutes the puny cat with ease and wins the battle. Even though Ash wins the whole thing fair and square, Togepi thinks Misty as its mama after she was the first thing that it saw, so the little egg ends up choosing her. All that for nothing, huh?
Bulbasaur's mysterious garden.
The next episode starts with Ash taking down a hiker's Rhyhorn, using his Bulbasaur like it ain't no thing. But then Bulbasaur's bulb starts glowing brighter, and they rush to the nearby center. In the Pokemon Center, Nurse Joy hints that Bulbasaur is getting ready to join an evolution festival happening in the mysterious garden. That night, the little seed Pokemon sneaks off without telling anyone. But Detective Pikachu is like, Pikachu joins Bulbasaur, but soon a group of Bulbasaur kidnap it, and Pikachu rushes to alert Ash. This is when things get really crazy. The wild Bulbasaurs do this ritual that makes a massive tree bloom with flowers, and out pops a ginormous Venusaur. The Bulbasaur all evolve into Ivysaur, but Ash's Bulbasaur is like, no, I'm good, and refuses to evolve. This really angers the Venusaur, and tries to whip Bulbasaur with its vines, but Ash jumps in to protect his little buddy. But just then, those meddling Team Rocket fools show up, and they start vacuuming up all the Pokemon. Well, Bulbasaur wasn't having any of that nonsense. It learns Solar Beam, and rescues his friends from Team Rocket. The other Pokemon help out too, hitting Team Rocket with every attack in the book until they blast off once again. Finally, Venusaur accepts that Bulbasaur doesn't have to evolve right now if it doesn't want to. With that crazy festival over, Ash and crew continue their journey to the fiery Cinnabar Island.
Riddle me this.
Ash and the squad are cruising on a ferry headed for Cinnabar Island, and our boy's just bouncing off the walls excited to challenge the gym leader. But we also find our good old Gary Oak heading towards Cinnabar Island for a vacation break, and informs Ash that Cinnabar is basically just a resort now, with no active gym. They arrive on the island, and a local resident confirms through a bunch of riddles that the island's gym was shut down after the leader, Blaine, got fed up with the tourists. As night approaches, Ash and his crew struggle to find a place to stay, until they finally solve one of the riddles, which gets them free accommodations at Big Riddle Inn. That night, the innkeeper hits Ash with a new riddle about the secret gym being where firefighters never win. While in the hot spring, Togepi accidentally steps on a stone Gyarados' face, which opens an underground passage that leads straight into Blaine's battlefield, and it is revealed that the innkeeper is none other than the gym leader Blaine. Blaine's first Pokemon is the powerhouse Ninetales that just straight up demolishes Ash's Squirtle. Blaine chooses Rhydon as his second Pokemon, but Charizard just refuses to listen to Ash and battle it. Down to just Pikachu, our little electric mouse somehow manages to conduct its electricity right through Rhydon's horn to barely pull off a victory. But Blaine summons his final Pokemon, Magmar. Magmar brushes off Pikachu's electricity like it's nothing and starts pummeling the poor mouse with fire punches, backing it up closer and closer to the edge of this lava pit. Finally, Blaine orders Magmar to use the ultimate Fire Blast attack to finish Pikachu off. Misty and Brock are screaming for Ash to just forfeit and protect Pikachu, but our boy refuses and is determined to find a way to overcome Magmar's deadly attack as it gets right at the cliffhanger ending.
Volcanic panic!
As Magmar's overwhelming Fire Blast attack is coming straight for Pikachu, the little mouse barely manages to dodge out of the way. But seeing how insane the situation has become, Ash makes a wise decision to forfeit the match in order to protect Pikachu from taking the blast. As Ash tends to Pikachu's injuries, while Team Rocket infiltrates the underground gym, hoping to steal that Magmar. Using high-tech freeze blasters, they temporarily manage to freeze Magmar, but it doesn't last long. As the Pokemon breaks free from the ice prison, they recklessly start blasting with the ice rays, which starts causing major tremors that immediately alert Blaine and Ash's squad. Sure enough, fissures start violently opening up all over, with scorching red lava beginning to spill out as the entire battlefield. Taking charge, Blaine orders Magmar to try and stop the lava flow by throwing massive boulders. Ash brings out his Charizard, who initially refuses but joins in after witnessing Magmar's strength. The rest of Ash's team uses their Pokemon too, and successfully stop the flowing lava, preventing a catastrophic eruption. As a reward, Blaine agrees for an official rematch on his volcanic battlefield when they're ready. This time, Charizard steps up, who is motivated by Magmar's incredible power. They start with Flamethrower, followed by Magmar using his deadly Fire Blast, pushing Charizard right to the edge before it deflects the blast at the last second. In an intense grapple, Magmar tries throwing Charizard into the lava pit before they both end up tumbling in. Right then, Charizard re-emerges like a phoenix and uses his Seismic Toss attack to finally defeat Magmar. Blaine awards Ash the Volcano Badge for the hard-fought victory and his 7th badge overall.
The Battle of the Badge!
After an entire year of traveling and collecting badges, Ash finally arrives at where it all started, Viridian City. Determined to win his 8th and final badge to qualify for the Pokemon League tournament, he starts looking for the gym. But we've got a guest. And who is it? It's our boy's rival, good old Gary Oak, who mocks Ash along with his beautiful cheerleaders. The gym guards allow only one trainer to enter the battle at a time, so Gary goes first while Ash's group start looking for Togepi, after the egg Pokemon ended up in the mouth of a wild Fearow. Meanwhile, Gary finally comes face to face with the mysterious Viridian City gym leader, Giovanni, the leader of Team Rocket. Despite Gary's powerful Nidoking and Arcanine making short work of Giovanni's Golem and Kingler, the criminal boss's 3rd Pokemon is none other than the genetically engineered Mewtwo. Its overwhelming psychic powers defeat Gary's whole team easily, but Giovanni is forced to leave due to an emergency and makes the utterly incompetent Team Rocket as the gym leader. As Misty reunites with Togepi inside the gym, they find Gary, and he warns Ash that no normal trainer could ever hope to defeat Giovanni's Mewtwo.
This Pokemon's not just powerful, it's evil.
But our hero shrugs off the threat and challenges the newly appointed leaders Jesse, James, and Meowth to an official battle for his Earth badge. Initially, Jessie is winning and explains that any attack her Pokemon lands on Ash will also electrocute and hurt Ash directly through some special rules. However, Ash manages to turn the tide by having Pidgeotto's long-range attacks hurt Jessie herself through her rules. When Meowth tries rigging up, Gary intercepts to protect his rival Ash. Finally, Ash uses his Pikachu to defeat all the Pokemon, but the losers refuse to give the Earth badge. However, Togepi detonates the explosives, sending the entirety of Team Rocket blasting off once again. As the ruined Viridian City gym crumbles beneath them, Ash has finally collected all 8 badges needed to enter the Pokemon League tournament. However, he doesn't know where it's held, so Ash decides they should return to Pallet Town and ask Professor Oak about the upcoming Pokemon League competition.
It's Mr. Mime time!
On their way back to Pallet Town, an overexcited Ash runs ahead of the group, only to smack his face with an invisible wall. Right then, Ash spots that it's a Mr. Mime, who did this and attempts to catch it. But Stella, who's part of a traveling Pokemon circus, wants Mr. Mime for her circus show. She explains that her circus owns a Mr. Mime, but has become an absolute sloth and refuses to perform. This immediately gets Brock's romantic senses tingling, and he promises to help catch Stella a new Mr. Mime, even roping Ash into dressing up in a Mr. Mime costume against his will. Meanwhile, Team Rocket are still licking their wounds from their humiliating Viridian Gym failure. Determined to redeem themselves, they plan to catch a rare Pokemon to present to Giovanni. At the circus's opening parade, Ash is forced to take the stage and perform alongside Stella. Using this as the perfect chance, Team Rocket strikes and snatch Mr. Mime from the circus. Back at Team Rocket's hideout, Ash reveals his true identity to the trio, making total fools out of all of them. He then steals their hot air balloon and heads to his house. Right then, the real Mr. Mime pays a visit to the Ketchum residence. Delia mistakes it for Ash in his costume and serves it some food. But then the real Ash returns home and convinces the stubborn Mr. Mime to perform for the circus. At first, Mr. Mime refuses, but Delia manages to persuade the guy, and so they head to the circus. But Team Rocket is creating a total menace using their electro-resistant tank. Touched by Stella's care, Stella's Mr. Mime joins the fight too. Along with Delia, Mr. Mime traps Team Rocket's tank in an infinite mirror loop. Stella apologizes to Mr. Mime for her harsh treatment and happily agrees to start performing again.
And I'm sorry. Won't you please perform in the circus again?
With the day saved, Delia welcomes Mr. Mime, who she calls Mime, to live with her and assist with housework.
Showdown at the Corral!
When Ash is dreaming about standing victorious at the Pokemon League tournament, he's woken up by Mime, who vacuums right in his face. Meanwhile, Team Rocket are moping through a forest, utterly dejected by failing their boss Giovanni too many times. Looks like it's time to find a new job. However, the universe has other plans for our Poke Thieves. They witness a massive explosion at one of Giovanni's secret bases, with the genetically engineered Mewtwo emerging from the rubble. Giovanni survives the blast and gets out of there in his copter. Over at Professor Oak's lab, Ash, Misty, and Brock arrive to find Gary Oak, who has come to meet his grandfather. The professor is happy that both Ash and Gary have displayed their skills and talent to qualify for the upcoming Pokemon League tournament. But the excitement is short-lived, as the rivals immediately start trash-talking each other over who is the stronger trainer. Some things really never change. Speaking of which, Team Rocket stumbles into a swarm of Beedrill and run for their lives on their way to Oak's lab. They meet Oak and Gary, who are utterly shocked to discover that Meowth can actually talk.
We're true pussyfooting around, so hand over that little rat and make it snappy.
It's a talking Meowth?
Just before an epic battle can kick off, Ash's Taurus rampage through Team Rocket and send them blasting off again.
All fired up!
Finally arriving at the Indigo Plateau for the Pokemon League tournament, Ash can barely contain his excitement as he's pumped up for the battle. Poor Togepi starts crying too. Seeing a torchbearer carrying a torch, he runs toward him requesting to carry the iconic flame. Right then, Charles Goodshow shows up introducing himself as the president of the Pokemon League. He grants permission for Ash after being charmed by the young man's passionate spirit. But Team Rocket are back to steal the sacred flame, and they succeed this time, but Charles reveals he has a backup lantern to avoid this kind of incident. After a long marathon, Brock finally hands over the torch to President Goodshow at the gates of Indigo Plateau. As the final torchbearer goes to light the center of the stadium, Team Rocket steals Moltres' flame and try to run away. But Ash instantly races into action and tries to stop them, getting blocked by a thick smog from wheezing. Team Rocket enter into one of their gigantic makeshift mechanic terrors and snatch the entire cauldron's fire for themselves. They trap Ash's Pokemon against a wall, preparing to incinerate them all with the stolen flame. However, the mystical flames don't harm Ash, as the legendary Moltres appears from the flame, blasting Team Rocket away with its firepower.
Round one, begin!
After working so hard for all the 8 badges, finally, our Ash is ready to take part in the first battle of the tournament. Ash is excited, and so is the whole population of Pallet Town, including Professor Oak and Ash's loving mom, who definitely packed his lucky underwear. At the battle, Ash chose his little Krabby to take on Mandy's Exeggutor, which surprises everyone. It turns out to be a smart move after Krabby dodges Exeggutor's psychic whirlpool attack, then lands Stomp to knock it out. Even better, the battle makes Krabby evolve into the Kingler. Kingler easily beats Mandy's Seadra with Bubble and Crab Hammer attacks. Then against Golbat, he uses Hyper Beam to blast off the poor bad Pokemon. With that, Ash wins his very first battle of the tournament without switching any Pokemon. Back at home, Delia is overjoyed to see her son win the battle, and even our usual nemesis, Team Rocket, is impressed by Ash.
Fire and ice!
After a flying start, Ash chooses Squirtle against his Nidorino in the second match. The battle starts with Nidorino's tackle, but Squirtle knocks it out with Water Gun and Skull Bash. Ash wins the second match with ease, but Gary brushes it off as just dumb luck against a weak opponent. After the battle, Misty scolds Ash for stuffing his face with food instead of healing his Pokemon. However, when they find all the Pokemon centers jam-packed with trainers, they decide to go to a sketchy center run by Jesse and James in disguise. Even though Brock's Nurse Joy radar senses something fishy, it's already too late, as Pikachu is captured again. But these dimwits never learn, and are quickly knocked out. The next day, Ash uses his Kingler on the ice field against Pete's Cloyster. Kingler smashes right through Cloyster's defense and defeats it. But Pete's Arcanine was trickier, dodging Kingler's attacks with agility. So Ash swaps it with Pikachu and provokes Arcanine to melt the ice with Fire Blast, and finally finishes off the battle with a Thunderbolt to snatch another victory.
The fourth round rumble!
The episode kicks off with good old Gary Oak facing an embarrassing defeat against Melissa. This makes Ash start to doubt his own chances, but Brock and Misty keep his spirits up for the upcoming Grassfield Showdown. For the third battle, Ash's opponent Jeanette arrives with an entire cheerleading squad, and you already know Brock was a goner. Yeah, this is the same guy who said to our hero he will always be by his side. Ash starts off the battle with Bulbasaur, who manages to take down Jeanette's Beedrill and Scyther. And it looked like another easy win for our protagonist, but little did he know what would happen next. Her third and final Pokemon is a Bellsprout. Wait a minute, don't underestimate the little sprout, because it ends up defeating Bulbasaur and Pikachu in an instant. With only one Pokemon to go, the match might go either in Ash's or Jeanette's way. So after a long decision, Ash chooses Muck as his third Pokemon. The battle starts with Bellsprout using powerful physical strikes against Muck, but it does no damage to Muck's grimy body.
Keeps on kicking!
Bellsprout. Bellsprout.
To finish off the battle, Muck engulfs and flattens Bellsprout with a nasty body slam and wins it for Ash. Victory was great, but Muck treats Ash with the same full-body hug it had just given Bellsprout.
A friend indeed!
After Ash's impressive wins, it was time to celebrate with a fancy dinner. With no kitchen, Delia decides to take over the restaurant's kitchen and start cooking for her son. Later at the hotel, they meet up with the trainer, Richie, in the elevator. He and Ash immediately bond over their shared obsession with Catch 'em All. When the elevator stops working, Richie asks Pikachu to zap it with a Thunder Shock to jumpstart it, and the elevator starts working again. He bids adieu to Ash, and the others leaving a lasting impression. The next day, those rocket clowns are up to no good again, disguising themselves to snatch all the trainer's Pokemon. However, Ash and Richie find out and start chasing the goons. After an all-night pursuit, the duo managed to sneak into Team Rocket's van to take back the stolen Pokeballs. However, those goons find out and try to drive away with them. However, with their combined team power, they take down Jesse, James, and Arbok, blasting them off again. To everyone's surprise, the next matchup is between Ash and his new buddy, Richie.
Friend and foe alike!
Knowing that he's going to fight his next battle with Richie, Ash gets worried but vows to still give it his signature 100% effort. On battle day, Team Rocket plots to kidnap Pikachu once again. However, this time by exploiting Richie's and Ash's friendship. Using a voice changer, they lure Ash right into a trap by impersonating Richie's voice over the phone. However, with the help of Squirtle, Ash gets out of the truck, and with Pidgeotto giving a ride through the sky, he manages to get to the battle in just the nick of time. Once the battle kicks off, the two friends show why they made it that far. Richie's Butterfree takes down Squirtle, but then Ash's Pikachu zaps it into oblivion. However, Richie's Charmander manages to outmuscle Pikachu. In a last-ditch gambit, Ash risked unleashing the lazy Charizard. As expected, Charizard refuses to fight, and Ash throws in the towel. Despite the L, Ash congratulates Richie while vowing to keep chasing the Pokémon Master dream.
Friends to the end!
After losing to Richie, Ash is super bummed about being the one who got knocked out. Misty tries her best to get our hero back on track, but Ash is in no mood and refuses to listen to her. Their squabbling finally got so bad that Pikachu had to zap them both with a "get over it already" Thundershock. Despite his disappointing loss, he congratulates Richie and wishes luck for his next match. But then, Richie hits his own roadblock and is out of the tournament as well. He meets Ash near a lake and dishes out some wise words on how to be a better trainer. With that perspective, the pair vow to keep chasing the Pokémon Master dream. Just when everything is going smoothly, Team Rocket decide to ruin it by trapping the buddies and their Pikachus in an underground pit. But through teamwork, which Team Rocket lacks, Ash and Richie use their Pokémon to bust out and blast those clowns off again. At the closing ceremony, Ash and Richie, along with the league's top trainers, get badges. And with that, the buddies bid adieu to continue their journey of becoming a Pokémon Master. And with that, we complete Season 1 of the Pokémon series. I hope you enjoyed reliving the adventures of Ash, Pikachu, and their friends. Just for fun, let me know in the comments what Pokémon you'd take with you if you had to start your journey. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Now, if you excuse me, I gotta go listen to that Poké rap again.